Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Bryan's Business World. Today, we're going to talk about how to obtain and keep good quality tenants for your rental properties. So, the very first thing, or rather, first lesson to keep in mind with obtaining and keeping good tenants is that you need what I call a pre-screening interview checklist of questions. So you need to create a list of questions for pre-screening your tenants. Now, what do I mean by this? Now, almost all landlords have some form of application process. So the formal application process, sort of as a given, no news there, many landlords have that. But before you actually have people apply, let's say you get inquiries from an online ad or some sort of other advertisement that you have, I would very strongly recommend that you do a phone interview, or even these days it could be a video interview by Zoom or Teams or something like that, where you take about 5 to 10 minutes and you have the same set of questions that you ask each and every prospective tenant. So why would you do this, and why is this such a critical piece of getting good tenants and keeping them? And the answer is, if you avoid, in the first place, of having typically bad or unqualified tenants apply, because you've already had sort of a conversation with people, you've asked them specific questions, and you've gotten some good context and background and a feel for who is interested in the property. And you can, again, thin out a lot of unnecessary or potentially unsuccessful applicants right there. But what is also very important for you as a landlord, this formulation of a pre-screening interview, is that you have to think about who you're looking for. Now, good tenants can come in a lot of shapes, forms, and sizes, and a variety of different background profiles. And again, who is a good tenant, or actually, who might even be a great tenant on paper, may not be that good of an applicant. So let me just clarify what I mean by that. There are great tenants who you want to have and keep, who on a paper application may not look that great. You can ferret those people out and keep and retain them if you actually talk to them at the inquiry stage. So, for example, let's say someone, good long-term job, maybe not a credit history, great rental history, maybe they have not so great credit or no credit. You can ferret that out on the pre-screening interview. If they straight applied with you, you might think, well, there's not really good credit or much credit here, so I can't have them. And you may have just missed a great tenant. So very, very, probably the most important thing you can do in terms of getting and keeping a good tenant is a pre-application screening interview for 5 or 10 minutes. Okay. Now, the second sort of, or what are some other techniques you can use for getting and keeping good tenants? Obviously, formal application, that kind of goes without saying. Within the formal application, make sure you look at their credit history, rental history, employment status, and criminal background. Now, different states have different laws about what kind of information you can pull on your potential tenants, so make sure you comply with those. There are some federal laws about that. You do need someone's permission to apply, or rather give them a credit check, just for your information. Okay? Now, assuming that you've done the pre-screening interview, the application all checks out, then what are some other items that you can do, or some other techniques you can use to obtain and keep good tenants? Make sure that you do in-person showings as the landlord. And if possible, dress professionally. I've always found that I showed up in a suit with business cards and a clipboard, created an aura of professionalism with the tenants that I had. And I think the tenants respected that the landlord, the owner, not just the landlord, the owner was there, him or herself, professionally attired with business cards, looking serious and looking organized. And I think a lot of landlords do not treat it as a professional activity, more of a side hobby to make money. So I think that's very important in setting the stage with your tenants. Again, having the business cards is a nice technique. Now, once you get through all of that and the tenants moving in, I would also encourage you to set regular meetings with your tenants, where it could even be where you show up dressed professionally and you have an agenda and a list of items. Again, that can elevate the relationship. It can elevate it in terms of its professionalism. And again, most landlords are sadly not professional. So if you can do that, I think it will elevate the tenants that you have, and also your tenants will respect you more as a landlord and treat your property better as well. So keep that in mind. Everything goes to whether the tenant respects you and the property. And the more you can encourage that and do that, always keep that in mind in your relationships with your tenants. So anyway, I hope you found some of these techniques helpful. There's a lot of other things that go into managing the landlord-tenant relationship, and we can speak to that in some other shows. But I hope you've gotten something out of our episode today. And again, please follow us, leave some comments below, and we look forward to hearing from you. Thank you.